Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Neville Arena was rocking, and so let's go ahead and dive in. I do want to get to the second game first, where Auburn, they survive. It was a game that, listen, first of all, a lot of hype, 2 top 10 teams, the number 1 offense in America, according to all the advanced analytics, the number 1 defense in America, according to all the advanced analytics. Well, guess what? The game was played on Tennessee's terms as the final score in this one, 53-51. It shows you that it wasn't the prettiest game, but Auburn gets the victory. And Auburn, in my opinion, again, it continues to separate itself from the rest of the sport. And I'll be honest, I think their star player, Johni Broome, is separating himself in the National Player of the Year conversation. So when I look at this game, a couple things stand out. Listen, let me start by saying this. I love college hoops. Nobody loves college hoops more than Torres. But even I got to admit, little bit of sore sight for the eyes. Okay, like I said, 53-51 was the final score. Neither team shot above 32% from the field. Let me make sure that I have my math right on this. The two teams combined to shoot 7 of 42 from 3. Not great at math, but that means only 1 of 6 went in. That's well under 20% combined for the two teams. 18% for Tennessee, 15% for Auburn. It was ugly. It was, listen, I'll tell you this. You know how I know it was a little bit of a tough game to watch? After the game, both Auburn fans and Tennessee fans were frustrated with the refereeing. Our Torres on the Vols account, our Torres on Auburn account, we're both saying the refs sucked. Get us out of there. But Auburn finds a way to win. And Auburn finds a way to win in large part because of the return of their star player, Johni Broome. And so I want to go ahead and get into this. But first of all, Johni Broome, this is an unbelievable story. Okay, remember about 3 weeks ago, what was it? About 3 weeks ago, I think it was the Ohio State game, separates his shoulder in the middle of the game, leaves the game. You question if he's going to be able, he sits out the next game against Georgia State. Auburn is playing Purdue the following game. And you sit there and say, like, okay, is he going to miss this Purdue game? What's going to happen? I know. Comes back, plays in the Purdue game. This was a few weeks ago. Finishes that game with 23 points and 11 boards against a team in Purdue that is currently in second place of the Big Ten, absolutely dominated. Auburn beats them by 18 points. But then a few weeks ago, it was literally 2 weeks ago, that Johni Broome has that nasty ankle sprain against South Carolina. He's helped off the court. I'll be honest, I saw it live. It felt season-ending to me. You then find out that it's just a sprain. It won't require surgery. But you start talking about, is he going to be out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month? Auburn isn't going to rush him back. Well, guess what? He misses 2 games. And by the way, we said this at the time. If you remember, we talked about this. I said, Auburn actually, all things considered, in the SEC this year, Auburn actually got a little bit of a scheduling break. 2 manageable games, Mississippi State and home, and then of course they then went on the road to play Georgia. I thought that was a manageable stretch. Then they get a full week off. I assumed he wasn't going to play the Tennessee game. They play at LSU. I thought he would return after that. So the fact that he comes back after what we thought could be a season-ending injury, an ankle sprain that for most people takes a month to come back from. Listen, I'm a UConn guy. Love my Huskies. Liam McNeely sprained his ankle on Jan 1, okay? He sprained it a full 2 weeks before Johni Broome did, and he has not yet come back. And I'm not criticizing Liam McNeely. I'm just saying that, Johni Broome has some tiger blood in him, literally and figuratively, because he comes back after less than 2 weeks. Bruce Pearl said after the game, he wasn't sure. Johni Broome wasn't even practicing until Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. They weren't sure he was going to go. The way that I read Bruce Pearl's comments was that basically he was questioning whether he should even put him in. Broome wanted to play. Broome plays and finishes in this game off the bench with 33 minutes played, 16 points, 13 rebounds. I'll call it the big defensive play at the end of the game. Tennessee fans think there was a foul, but I bring it up because it was an unbelievable effort from Johni Broome as Auburn gets the win. And with it, let me say this. Listen, I don't think there are like a ton of super intriguing conversations in college basketball. And I love college basketball, but it's kind of a game-to-game, week-to-week sport. And I don't think there's a lot of like conversations that transcend, fan base to fan base. Like if you're a Kentucky fan, you follow Kentucky. If you're an Auburn fan, you follow Auburn. If you're a Duke fan, you follow Duke. Okay. But I do think there is an interesting conversation about the National Player of the Year going on. Johni Broome on one side, Cooper Flagg on the other. And it's interesting to me because when Johni Broome got hurt, I kind of felt like everyone in the media was rushing to hand the Player of the Year award to Cooper Flagg under the assumption that Johni Broome was going to be out some crazy extended period of time. And I remember thinking at the time, like, this feels crazy to me. Like, are we rushing to judgment? And I think part of it is, look, Cooper Flagg's an amazing player with an amazing season. I'll also say this. I think a lot of college basketball media is dying for Cooper Flagg to be and feel more relevant than he is. Oh, my God, I'm going to get crushed for that. All the college hoops nerds are going to say, what the hell am I talking about? Cooper Flagg's amazing, okay? But I don't feel like it has felt as big as everybody thought it was going to be in the preseason. This was a kid, of course, that played with Team USA. This was a kid, of course, that was a headline grabber in August. And I think we all thought this was going to be Zion 2.0. Well, Cooper Flagg is a different player. In some ways, he's been just as good. But when Johni Broome got hurt, it felt like everybody was like, well, Cooper Flagg's now the National Player of the Year frontrunner. And I'm like, why? Let's see how long Johni Broome misses. And so as we now get into February, as Johni Broome is now back, I actually think Johni Broome should be considered the overwhelming favorite to win the National Player of the Year. It's not a knock on Cooper Flagg. I understand they played head-to-head. I understand Cooper Flagg's team won. But to me, this feels like a manufactured debate because everybody in the media wants Cooper Flagg to be more awesome than he already is, and he's already awesome. But when I look at Johni Broome, here's the bottom line. First of all, Auburn as a team, and I know this is not a team award, but this guy is the heart and soul of what I believe is far and away the best team in college basketball. And I know what people say, Torrent, they lost to Duke. How can you say they're the best team by far? Well, listen, nobody's going undefeated. Even UConn last year, which we all agree was one of the best teams of the modern era, they lost 3 times, okay? Nobody's going undefeated. They played Duke on the road. This is Auburn now. And in that game, Johni Broome was awesome. Cooper Flagg was awesome. The reason Duke won that game wasn't Cooper Flagg. It wasn't because Johni Broome stunk. It was because Isaiah Evans came off the bench, wasn't even playing in the previous couple games, had 18 points, 6 3-pointers made. So, yes, I understand they played. I don't really care that Auburn lost a singular game to Duke on a true road environment. And instead, to me, it's actually the exact opposite. Is if you look at the totality of Auburn's schedule, again, they are trending to have one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen, okay? Listen, I know that sounds like hyperbole. I know there's a lot of games left to be played. It doesn't change the fact that what they're doing is absolutely incredible. 18-1 overall. No other power conference team has fewer than 2 losses. Beyond that, I said this last week, 11-1 in quad 1 games, okay? So again, quad 1 are the best wins you can possibly have. I looked it up. A great resume on Selection Sunday is like 12-13 quad 1 wins. Auburn has 11. It's not even February, and they still have 12 regular season games plus 3 games maybe in the SEC tournament. It's like they're going to put together what could go down as a historic resume, and we'll see what happens if they get there. But beyond that, Broome, to me, has been the biggest in the best games all season long. First of all, again, the schedule is bananas. I was looking this up for fun. So, yes, Auburn did lose to Duke, okay? But how about this right now? So look at the top 25 rankings in the AP. Auburn has beaten the number 3 team in the country, Iowa State. Johni Broome was awesome in that game. They have beaten the number 6 team in the country, Tennessee, on Saturday night. Johni Broome was awesome in that game. They beat the number 7 team in the country, Houston. Johni Broome was awesome in that game. They beat the number 11 team in the country, Purdue. Johni Broome was awesome in that game. So the top 11 teams, Auburn has beaten 4 of them, and Johni Broome has been incredible. By the way, it shows you how deep the SEC is because Auburn still has 3 games left against teams currently in the top 10. Actually, more than 3, but they play Kentucky, They play Alabama twice, and they also play Florida. So there's still a lot of big games left on that schedule. But they are trending to go down as one of the best regular season teams we've ever seen. We'll see what it relates to in the postseason. And this guy is the heart and soul of that team. And again, he plays his best in all of the biggest games for Auburn. 16-13 on Saturday night against Tennessee. They don't win without him. 23-11, as I said, against Purdue. 21-20 against Ohio State. 20-12 at Duke. 23-19 against UNC. 21-10 against Iowa State. You go on and on down the list. This is incredible. By the way, 20-9 against Houston early in the season. And so, listen, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, but he is playing great in Auburn's biggest games. They are playing statistically one of the toughest schedules in college basketball, and we'll see how the rest of the season unfolds. I get it. I get that Cooper Flagg is fun. I get that he's hype. But first of all, Cooper Flagg, and again, it sounds like I'm disrespecting him. I'm just stating facts. Their biggest games, he wasn't great. He was good against Auburn, was not good against Kansas. I was at that game. And then against Kentucky, he had the big turnovers late that cost them the game. So again, we're talking nuance here. By the way, the other thing with Johni Broome, because Tennessee fans, of course, were, he's a free throw merchant. He's Zach Edey 2.0. Johni Broome shoots 4 free throws a game. Johni Broome shot 3 free throws against Tennessee. Johni Broome is a 60% three-point free throw shooter. So the reason I bring it up, because Zach Edey last year, I looked it up, shot 11 free throws per game. Johni Broome shooting 4. So don't tell me he just draws dumb fouls and he gets lucky and all that stuff. No. He is having an incredible year. Auburn is having an incredible year. To me, he is the runaway National Player of the Year. I actually think it's a manufactured debate right now. I think Broome is the overwhelming favorite. We still got 5 weeks left of the regular season. It's not too early to kind of see where things go, but to me, he should be considered the favorite for the National Player of the Year.